So my son and his friends are going to be sitting outside in the sweltering 94-degree heat of Coachella today, waiting all day in front of the barricades to make sure they're front and center for Guns N' Roses' performance at 10 o'clock tonight. I'm 2.5 hours south, right outside of San Diego and Mission Valley, where the high today is going to be like 73. There's a nice breeze, a brand new hotel, and I got to give Marriott props. I sometimes kid them about their decor, but I've got to say I do like the new panoramic picture that goes around the living quarters of the room here, I have to say. Looks good. Nice little backdrop. May have to steal this for my home here. I do like this one. I think I'm going to keep this one. Anyway, guys, everything's going well except for the fact that the San Antonio Spurs could not get the job done last night against Memphis. Yes, I wanted to be greedy. I needed to win last night. Took a split. Lost the 15-dimer there, cashed in with the 5-dime play in baseball for a second straight night with the Cubs on the run line, but still would have preferred to win. Hey, this is Saturday. You know the drill, guys. Each and every Saturday over the past 4.5 years, I've given you a money-saving discount coupon code that can potentially save you hundreds of dollars off your total purchase price, and today is no different. That coupon code is 23%. That's 23%. Say it after me, 23%. It's a mix and match coupon, which means it's good for any combination of handicappers, picks, and/or packages here at the site. The only stipulation, it's a one-time usage coupon, which means you got to put everything in your shopping cart at one time in order to maximize your savings. Should you ever have any questions, you can always contact customer services. I zip through that in a little under 12 seconds. NBA playoffs. Let's talk about how we've gotten to this point in terms of ATS results. And before I get to that and your free plays today, I just have a little observation. Did you see the NBA, which reviews the final 2 minutes of games for any officiating errors, etc., came out yesterday, 24 plus hours after the fact, and said that James Harden's winning shot in game number 3 at home against Golden State should not have counted. It was one of 5 missed or blown calls in the final 2 minutes of that game. Oh, gee, I guess apologies are accepted. We talk about having total transparency, that it's so necessary when it comes to making sure that the game is never tainted, never tarnished, because all of us evil gamblers are putting money on the game. But it's okay, 24 plus hours after the fact, to say, hey, we blew it, because there were just, I'm sure, a few guys out there that decided to perhaps bet Golden State on the money line in that game, minus 200, minus 220, and ended up losing because Harden's shot, which shouldn't have counted, was counted. Wonder if they're going to get their money back. Oh, you say it doesn't work that way, huh? Hey, the playoffs, again, it has been a first round that has been dominated by favorites and dominated by blowouts. Favorites now 15-7 against the spread after the Cavs and Celtics got the job done last night. 15 double-digit blowouts, 14 of them by favorites. The only double-digit blowout by an underdog, the very first game of this postseason last Saturday afternoon, when Indiana, as the 7.5-point dog, went out right by double digits at Toronto. The under continues to be the play. 16-6 is the record in terms of under being the performer in the postseason. One more thing here about the NBA postseason. Last night, interesting game with the Cavaliers and Detroit Pistons. One of the reasons I've always kind of liked Stan Van Gundy, other than he has he's kind of sarcastic, he's kind of witty sometimes, but he doesn't certainly mesh any words. And, last night, Andre Drummond sat his ass on the bench the final 6 minutes or so of that game against Cleveland. In fact, he only played 93 seconds in the final 12 minutes. And some people will say, well, geez, if he had played Drummond, the team's leading scorer and rebounder, perhaps they would have had a chance to actually get the cover in the game. But he pulled them out. They were only down by 4 with 6 minutes and 2 seconds to go. But again, Drummond's inability to hit the broad side of the barn when at the free throw line cost him the opportunity to play down the stretch because Cavaliers, again, the hack-a-shack routine kept sending to the line. He continued to miss. He's 6 for 24 in the series, a 38% career free throw shooter. What do you expect? He's a vulnerability on the floor, especially in the postseason where possessions are more dictated by the half-court tempo of the game. And again, got to give Van Gundy props because he had no problem with sitting him down there on the bench. What did he have to lose at that point other than seeing him go to the free throw line and missing more free throws? In terms of the hottest NBA and basketball crew here at the site, I got to give quick props going out to Steve Buden's Cali Cartel as they continue to get the job done. I think today they are, let me just double check here. I just want to make sure I give you the right number. You know, college basketball and NBA combined. Today, they are going for 109 basketball winner number 21 out of 26 on the Thunder Mavs game. They are going also for basketball winner number 24 out of 30 overall. That's college hoops and NBA this season, 24 out of 30 overall. And every single one of the 29 previous plays, you've gotten a substantial discount, including their 109 winners last night. Let's see, who was it last night? It was on the Celtics. The night before, it was, who was it? The Thunder was the night before in game number 3. Or no, it was actually the Raptors. Anyway, they hit 109 plays each of the past 4 nights. But the bottom line is this. You've got all these plays in college basketball and the NBA at substantial discounts. And the same thing goes today. So check out all your coupons and discount codes over on the homepage for them. Let's get to your complimentary plays. They're both going to be in the NBA. Miami has jumped out to a commanding 2-0 lead by sweeping the first 2 at home against Charlotte. These are teams that had the same number of regular season wins. These are teams that split the regular season series. These are teams that are not playing up to expectations in one particular area, and that's in terms of their performance in the first 2 games of the series, because the Miami Heat have suddenly turned themselves into an offensive juggernaut, where the Charlotte Hornets, a strong defensive team, have suddenly forgotten how to play any D. That Matador defense is just not working with the Heat firing on all cylinders. I mean, Miami wins game number 1, right? And they shoot 57.6% from the field in that game. They win at home, 123-91. Then in game number 2, they shoot even better, 57.9%. They score 72 points in the first half. They win the game 115-103. Now, this is a Charlotte team, guys. It was number 9 in the NBA this season in terms of points per game allowed, giving up, I think it was like 100.3 points a game. But in doing my research for this contest, I came across a great stat. In the first 2 games of the series, and granted, it is a small sample size. I will grant you that. In the first 2 games of the series, Miami has averaged 1.32 points per possession. Now, the Golden State Warriors this season have averaged 1.13 points per possession. That's how effective Miami has been, at least in the first 2 games, both of them at home. I think Miami can win again, though, however, today take a stranglehold 3-0 lead in this best-of-7 set. You got a Charlotte team that I told you at the outset of this postseason that I would have considered taking if I knew Nick Batum's ankle was 100%. It was not. He re-aggravated the injury in game number 2. He's expected to miss this game number 3 today. You've got a Charlotte team that, again, simply can't get the job done defensively. I look at game number 2. I mean, you had Kemba Walker, a good game. You had Al Jefferson playing even more minutes, even though he's a defensive liability because they needed some offense. He had 25 points, and yet they still lost that game. That's how good Miami has been in this series. And the fact that Charlotte has lost 12 consecutive postseason games can't exactly inspire a lot of confidence. So I'm going to go with Miami. Miami plus the 2 to 2.5 points in this one. That's going to be your first complimentary play. Your other play, I'm going to take a look at the Clippers and the Portland Trail Blazers. Now, listen, the Clippers, a lot of people thought this would be a tougher series, but the Clippers have dominated in the first 2, winning by margins of 20 and 21 at home, and they've really done it because their backcourt with Chris Paul and J.J. Redick has done an outstanding job at constantly putting the defensive screws on Portland's backcourt, because Portland relies on Damian Lillard and C.J. McCollum to get, 45, 46 points a game, but they've struggled in this contest. Damian, 21 points in game number 1 on 7 for 17 shooting. In game number 2, he went for 17 points, 6 for 22 points. McCollum, who had his breakthrough performance this season, averaging like 21 points a game. He's only averaged 12.5 points in the first 2 games, shooting just 32% from the field. And the other thing that's really hurt Portland in this series so far is that when Lillard, big part of his game is driving the lane, either taking it to the hole where he's so effective or else dishing it out. But DeAndre Jordan has just clogged up the middle. There was just no room. He's given the Clippers the rim protection they need. Offensively, the Clippers have just been overwhelming in terms of their balance and the bench support that they're getting as well. Hell, in game number 2, Clippers bench had 43 points. Portland's bench only had 10. I think the Clippers are plus 85 points in the first 2 games of the series, thanks to the contributions from the likes of Jamal Crawford and Paul Pierce, etc., off the bench. Blake Griffin has certainly performed well so far here in the series, followed a big game number 1 with 12 points and 9 rebounds in game number 2. Remember, for a guy who, he's played 8 games since missing 43 or 45 in a row because of injury and suspension. I think the most important factor to consider in this contest today is this. During Doc Rivers' tenure, the only 3 series that the Clippers have won have gone and been extended 7 games. This is a team that, remember, back in 2013, they took a 2-0 lead against Memphis and then watched the Grizzlies come back and win 4 in a row. They coughed up a 3-1 lead to the Houston Rockets in last year's Western Conference semifinals and lost that series as well. I think this is one of those learning points. You learn from your mistakes and you go out and you apply what you learned to today's game number 3. And I think that's why the Clippers are the good play here. Minus 1.5 points. I think they get the job done because I don't see Portland being able to match their offensive firepower. So the Clippers are going to be the play there, along with the Miami Heat, as I take a couple of road teams today in the postseason. I wish you well, and I'll talk to you again tomorrow, guys, when we do this one more time.